June 8, 1989, Richmond, British Columbia. The body of 44-year-old Cindy James was found in the backyard of an abandoned house in Richmond, British Columbia. Her hands and feet were tightly bound, and a black nylon stocking was knotted around her neck. She had been missing for over 2 weeks, since May 25th, when her car was discovered abandoned in a nearby neighborhood. The engine still running, the driver's door open, and her wallet and groceries left inside. There was something very bizarre about her death. Let's delve into her story. Cindy was born on June 12, 1944, in the small town of Oliver, British Columbia, to Otto and Tilly Hack. Her father, a strict and commanding Canadian Air Force colonel, ran his home with the same discipline as his military posts, with precision, order, and a temper that made even love feel conditional. Tilly, her mother, was a homemaker and the loving mother of 6 children. Tilly was also of Russian descent. The family experienced hardships, including the loss of several children before Cindy's birth. Being the eldest, she cared for her younger siblings and managed responsibilities far beyond her years. The frequent relocation of her father across Canada and Europe made it difficult for Cindy to form lasting friendships outside the family. She was discouraged from bringing friends home or visiting them, which further isolated her. In 1962, when her family prepared to move overseas, 18-year-old Cindy made a bold decision. She stayed behind, alone, determined to live on her own terms. She enrolled in the nursing program at Vancouver General Hospital, living in the on-site dorms. There she met Dr. Roy Makepeace, a psychiatrist nearly 20 years her senior. He was married with 2 children. Cindy's parents were deeply concerned, especially her father, who believed Roy was taking advantage of her. Their relationship blossomed, and they married in December 1966, just 5 months after Cindy's graduation. However, her marriage to Dr. Makepeace was marked by difficulties. Cindy would later accuse Roy of emotional abuse, threats, and even physical violence. She claimed he slapped her and made chilling comments about death. Roy, however, asserted he only slapped her twice over the course of their marriage. They eventually separated in 1982. After Cindy and Roy separated, Cindy moved into her own apartment. Just months later, terror began. It began just months after her divorce in around September 1982. She told friends and family members she suspected that a prowler had been lurking around her home. Then she started receiving strange calls, mostly whispers of her name or eerie silence, each one deeply unsettling. On one chilling occasion, after Cindy closed her blinds for privacy, the caller rang back to taunt her, saying there was no use in hiding because he knew she was in her living room. This left her with a growing sense of fear and vulnerability that someone was watching over her all time. Cindy frequently reported the police about these calls, but they struggled to identify the caller due to the short duration of the calls and the lack of specific details. Then came the letters. Cindy would find envelopes in her mailbox on her doorstep, sometimes even slipped under her door. Inside were chilling messages, crude threats, obscene images, many crafted from letters cut out of magazines like something from a horror movie. Some notes said things like, "You're gonna die, bitch." There were no fingerprints, no DNA, no witnesses. Then things escalated. On October 15th, Cindy heard someone lurking outside her home and awoken in the morning to find her porch lights smashed. She reported to police that someone had thrown a rock through one of her windows and entered her house. Furniture slashed, pillowcases ripped apart. Cindy reported numerous incidents to the police, including property damage, threatening notes, home invasions, arson, and violent attacks. Despite her efforts to seek help and protection, the lack of concrete evidence made it difficult for authorities to take decisive action. As the harassment grew more terrifying, Cindy found herself clinging to anyone who made her feel safe. One of them was Patrick McBride, a police officer assigned to her case. He was one of the few people who believed her from the beginning. Over time, their relationship grew closer, even intimate. Patrick moved in with Cindy for a short while, hoping that his presence might deter the stalker or catch them in the act. However, even his presence did not deter the stalker, and the incidents persisted. In mid-November, McBride received a mysterious phone call at the home while Cindy was present, and the caller spoke no words. Upon digging, the call traced to an exchange in the Vancouver suburb of Richmond. A weak McBride observed that the phone lines outside the house had been cut in 5 different places. On one occasion, McBride saw Roy in the alley behind Cindy's house, where Roy claimed he was trying to catch the perpetrator in the act. After a while, on December 1st, McBride moved out of Cindy's house. Soon after, in the week of Christmas 1982, Cindy found a note outside her house reading "Merry Christmas," with a photo of a woman with her throat slashed, stained with red ink. But the most terrifying incident came one quiet evening in January 1983. Cindy didn't answer her phone or the door. Concerned, her friend Agnes Woodcock came to check on her. As she went to the backyard, she found Cindy lying unconscious in her backyard, with a nylon stocking wrapped around her neck. Upon regaining consciousness, Cindy recounted a terrifying ordeal. She told Agnes that she had been attacked from behind while walking to her exterior garage. The assailant dragged her into the garage where another man waited. In a desperate attempt to silence her, the attackers threatened to harm Cindy's younger sister, Melanie, if she reported the incident to the authorities. Cindy was rushed to the hospital after the attack. In a shaken interview with Ozzy Caban, she recalled seeing a man enter through her gate before everything went black. She claimed he struck her on the head, and while semi-conscious, she remembered him inserting a hypodermic needle into her arm. Doctors did find a needle mark on her right arm, but no drugs were detected in her system. When detectives began questioning Roy Makepeace, Roy suggested that Cindy's attackers were connected to the mafia, and that their motive may have tied back to her time working at Blenheim House, a facility for troubled youth and wards of the court. On June 18, 1984, Cindy found beloved dog Heidi trembling, tied up and drenched in fear. Her dog was physically abused, along with a note reading "Happy Birthday" and sexually explicit photos. On an evening in July around 8:30 p.m., Cindy went out to walk her dog near Dunbar Park, but she didn't return the same. Cindy later claimed she had been attacked by a bearded man driving a green van. Beside him sat a female passenger, watching silently. Cindy was rushed to the nearby University of British Columbia Health and Sciences Center, where doctors observed 2 puncture marks in her right arm. While Cindy was hospitalized, a receptionist reported receiving a strange call. A man with an accent had asked about the hospital's security protocols. Under hypnosis in January 1985, where Cindy recalled that she had witnessed her ex-husband, Roy Makepeace, murder and dismember a young couple on Thormanby Island in 1981, but police found no records of missing persons or murders in the area at the time. In late June 1985, Cindy was admitted to the psychiatric ward at Lionsgate Hospital in Vancouver. Following an apparent suicide attempt, she had overdosed on prescription medication. Several months on October 11, 1988, Cindy's ex, Roy, received a strange voice message on his home answering machine. A voice snarled through the static. She was afraid she wouldn't make it through the summer. And then, on May 25, 1989, Cindy vanished. That afternoon, she deposited her paycheck at the bank, ran errands, bought groceries. Everything seemed normal. She had made plans to play bridge with her neighbors that evening, and even planned to spend the night. But when she didn't show up, they knew something was wrong. At around 10 p.m., Cindy's friends and the Woodcocks stopped by her house. The doors were locked. Her Chevy was gone. Hours later, her car was found, abandoned, in the parking lot of the Blundell Shopping Center. Inside, police found groceries she had just purchased. A wrapped birthday gift for her friend's young son sat neatly on the seat, And upon closer examination, blood. Smears marked the driver's side door. The contents of Cindy's wallet were scattered on the ground underneath the car. Cindy James was gone. 17 days later, on June 8, 1989, a municipal worker named Gordon Starchuk made a chilling discovery in the yard of a vacant house at Lundell Road in Richmond, British Columbia. As Starchuk worked in the overgrown yard, he stumbled upon something lifeless. It was Cindy James. Her hands and feet were tied tightly behind her back. A black nylon stocking was wrapped firmly around her neck. Nearby, her coat lay discarded on the ground. But that wasn't all. The side of the property was marked with ominous graffiti. Spray-painted in thick, crude orange paint on a rusted fuel tank were the words, "Some bitch died here. Whoever left it wanted to be seen." During examination, a pinprick was found on the inside of Cindy's right elbow. The autopsy revealed she had died from a lethal overdose, a mix of morphine diazepam and flurazepam. Toxicologist opt. She concluded that the morphine was administered intravenously. If that was true, Cindy would have been unconscious within minutes, dead within hours. So how, in that condition, could she have tied herself up like that? How could she have walked to that location and staged her own death? Private investigator believed she didn't. He suspected Cindy may have died elsewhere, and that her body had been moved, planted at the site like some twisted message. In court, Dr. Wesley Friesen, Cindy's longtime psychiatrist, testified that he suspected she had borderline personality disorder with elements of post-traumatic stress. But that didn't explain everything. Not the restraints, not the message, not the years of documented fear. On May 25, 1990, exactly 1 year after her disappearance, the official cause of death was declared. Undetermined. What do you think happened to Cindy James? Was she silenced by someone no one ever caught? Or was her greatest enemy her own mind? Share your thoughts in the comments. Till next time, like and subscribe to Hidden Truths to uncover more stories the world tried to forget. Stay safe.